That's where I flow. That's the type of stuff that I do for companies. I build sales forces. I create sales presentations. I create methodologies, and companies that I'm doing this with and for are prospering at an extraordinarily significant level. Now, I'm not saying that to impress you, as Tony would say, but to impress upon you only one thing, is that it's possible. It's possible, right? But it's only possible if you have the correct mindset, right? I'm not necessarily calling it a better mindset. I'm just saying, don't have this mindset of scarcity over here, which is real easy to have, right? Because you watch the news, you listen to people, right? You stick your finger in the air, wet it, and recession, all this. Okay, fine, whatever's happening out there doesn't matter. What matters is, what are you doing inside of this? How are you pivoting? What opportunities are you recognizing and seizing upon? The beautiful thing about a recession, just like the beautiful thing about the month of December, right, is that it's a pairing month, meaning that difficulty will shake off all of the wannabes and the need-a-bees and the gotta-bees, right? So the only people that are left holding on are the ones who are fucking holding on, right? Okay, so there's less people, there's less consideration, and there's more opportunity, because the truth is, the money's still there. The money's still there, right? Let me tell you something. Don't think this way. Don't think like, oh, the market is doing this, so therefore my opportunity is less. Keep in mind, guys, with this big pie, all you need is one little itsy bitsy sliver of the pie, and you're generating millions of dollars annually in your business. Do you get that? You're just going for the sliver, okay? And what you want to do is become a specialist in identifying who that sliver is, speaking into that sliver, right, effectively, and then providing a product that sliver is going to appreciate and benefit from, and from there give you referrals and upsells and cross sells and expansion opportunity, right? That's where the focus is right now. So,
hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Give me 20 seconds to do math with these guys to make that math feel very real, just to capitalize on what you just said.
Perfect.
I don't think most people know this. And some of you have done the math with you in private. Others I haven't. Are you guys aware? On a 7 billion people planet, if you have 200 people paying you a measly $400 a month, more towards 8 billion. 8 billion people, you need 200 people paying you $400 a month. Are you aware that's a 7-figure business? You're in the top 1% of income earners in the world. If you get 200 people on this floating rock that want to, so do we believe that there are potentially 200 people or more that want to get healthy and in shape? It's a rhetorical question. Yes.
That's 16 people a month, by the way, enrolled.
You need to have one good conversation every 48 hours. That's it. I just want to make the numbers real for people, because sometimes, Jim, people push their dreams out so far ahead of them. They're like, oh, well, in 10 years from now, it'd be nice to have a 6-figure business. Oh, it's so far away. Your depth perception, meaning you thinking you're so far away from your dreams, is why you're not there. It's right in front of your face, and I want to make that very real to you. Sorry, Jim, continue, brother.
No, okay, so everybody understands that it's manageable. Success, one thing that I want to dispel, success, when you talk to successful people, which I'm very fortunate to be able to be in conversations daily with, for the most place, world-class thinkers, thought leaders, business people, etc. For the most part, they've got things down to fundamentally manageable activities and thoughts. I mean, think about it. Elon Musk wakes up every day and manages manageable, right, situations, projects, whatever the case may be. So, but why is he who he is? Because he's managing at a different level, but it's still manageable for him. Success is manageable, right? Success meaning 7 figures is manageable, right? And but and there's 3 things that's required. Number 1 is mindset. Number 2 is skill set. Number 3 is consistency. Those 3 things. Does this not also translate into physical fitness and working out? Right, your mindset. This, right, like you want to get in shape. You want to be healthy. You want to be, whatever. You want to live longer. You're on Huberman podcasts every day, listening to dopamine. But I'm into a 2.5-hour dopamine podcast right now with Huberman. But mindset, skill set, meaning what? Meaning that you what do I do in order to achieve what I want to achieve, right? And then consistency. This is success with anything. With anything. And you've got 365 days within which to practice these 3 basic fundamentals, right? And now understand this, just like your clients need to be coached into this, they need to be coached into the mindset that you're going to give them this and help them create on their own. You're going to nurture this mindset, the skill sets, which you're going to demonstrate and then facilitate, right? Educate. And then finally, the consistency by holding them accountable, right? By having them put skin in the game. That's the seed to consistency, by the way. You pay somebody money to do something, all of a sudden you become consistent to some degree, right? Because you got skin in the game. Okay.
I heard someone say, by definition, it's not a true commitment if not both time and money are behind it.
Yeah.
I think it's so true.
Yeah. So this is the same thing. This is the same thing with leadership, right? So what I want to challenge you guys is to be intentional leadership. What is intentional leadership? Intentional leadership is different from leadership because leadership, for the most part, a lot of times is either episodic, meaning that you have episodes of leadership, or it's basically on demand, meaning that the circumstance might require you to be a leader, so you step into that leadership as a response, a reaction, right? It's reactionary leadership, right? And I can tell you right now, neither one of these are going to get you where you want to be. Intentional leadership is where those people who are successful that I've coached, that I've been coached by, that I've affiliated with, it's intentional leadership, meaning what? That you're stepping into an identity of leadership every day. What does that mean? First thing that it means is be okay with being uncomfortable. Embrace discomfort. Meaning that you are going to risk, you are going to move into activity that you otherwise have not moved into. You're going to challenge your fears. You're going to challenge your procrastinations, right? Your uncertainties, right? Because you must run away from yourself. You must escape who you are today in order to be the person you must be tomorrow. Yesterday is who you're running from, right? You're not comparing yourself with someone else today. You're comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, and you're committing to not being that person, right? To being more, to being different. So what does that mean? That means you've got to capture, means you've got to be intentional, means you've got to put the daily notes in, right? What am I doing today? What am I going to get done today? What am I challenging today, right? This isn't something, again, this is intentional leadership. right? Where it becomes a habit. It's a habit for me to fill out 2 pages every morning of what's going to get done, of what I'm going to research, of who I'm going to impact, of what I'm going to move away from. This is intentional leadership. You're not doing this. You are in incidental leadership. You are in circumstantial leadership, right? Which means you're inconsistent. You're working out once a week. You're working out twice a week. You're working out every other week. And we know, you guys know as professionals, what kind of results or non-results you're going to achieve this way. It must be a new identity of who you are. You're called to be more. The opportunity is there for you to be more. How do you become more? First of all, you get some wicked guy like me or Josh, and we basically go into what's not working about you. We give you an honest assessment of who you are and what's not working. And you've got to have big boy or big girl pants in order to sit in that chair and listen, right? Because it's those things that are keeping you in mediocrity, that are keeping you in comfort. Do you know what the word, the Latin derivative of comfort? Com, the prefix com means with. Fortis, right? The root word means strong, like a fort, like to fortify. So comfort is something that you're strong with. But what happens is we become comfortable with our weaknesses. We become comfortable with being slothful, being lazy. Yes, I'm calling you out, but Jim, I work out every day. Jim, I'm working 10 hours a week. You're avoiding. You're avoiding. You are incidental. You are coincidental. You are situationally living your lives. How do I know that? Because you're on this call, because you want more. You're seeking more. You're not satisfied, right? So what is it that needs to be done? Number one, take an assessment of who you are. What are you comfortable with? And then decide, are you holding on to this or are you letting it go? Then secondly, what are your fears? What are your fears and your uncertainties? Because it's your fears and your uncertainties where greatness is. This is where the voice of greatness comes from. Your fears and your uncertainties, right? This is where greatness is. Oh, you know, Jim, I don't know if I want to open up that next facility, man. I mean, we're in some bad economic times. That's greatness, Colin. Behind every one of your fears is greatness, but we don't have the mindset to recognize it as the voice of greatness, the voice of prosperity, the voice of uniqueness. We fear it because we're fooled, we're deceived, because no one has told us the truth. You understand? Because in order to tell the truth, you must experience the truth. The truth comes from those who have experienced the truth. You understand? Right? So anyway, so this is the thinking. This is the thinking that we want to provoke you into, that we want to charge you. Did you? And I've got some good stuff here for you guys to give you some good content. But go ahead. You want to say something, Josh, or is there some questions? Or
I'll put a cap on that. Then I want to do that Forbes article. I want to talk about that because it really lays out objective, non-debatable, non-emotional data about what's going on and how we can make the most of this opportunity in this economic downturn. I always flip it. I think Jim is absolutely 100% correct, and you guys can use this with your leads, with your prospects, with your clients. Flip it and go, what does life look like if you don't take responsibility? What's the what I call the cost of inaction? Like within the context of a business, are you guys in 10 or 15 or 20 years really going to be sitting down with your kids or your grandkids and they're asking you, hey, Pops, what'd you do during COVID? Are you really going to sit there and say, well, yeah, I hung out at home all day. You know, it was fun. Or are you going to say, dude, I capitalized on the greatest transformation of wealth that's ever taken place? with social media, with paid advertising, with technology, with everyone being sad, sick, and depressed at home, the greatest opportunity of all time to be an online coach. Crazy that we have this opportunity and the timing that we do in a very young fitness industry. So we have a young industry, which means most people have no idea what they're doing, which means it's so easy to win in this world. So the fitness industry is so young. We can be the pioneers of this thing. You throw in COVID, which means everyone's sad, sick, and depressed, which means they need your help. My business quadrupled in the first 3 months of COVID. We had 500 to 1,000 new customers every single day for the entire 2 years that COVID was really taking place. So what's the cost of inaction? What are you going to tell your kids and grandkids about this 5 or 10 year period of time? I know what story I'm going to tell. I'm going to say, hey, I took responsibility. It was hard as hell. There were times where it really sucked, times where it wasn't fun, but hey, I stuck it through. I figured it out. And it's worth you bringing that up with your people, because people just think they can avoid responsibility and avoid reality until you have what I call the proverbial deathbed moment, where you're on your deathbed regretting that you didn't pull the trigger on things you should have, or regretting that you did things that you shouldn't have. So I just want to put a cap on that. The cost of inaction. What is that for you and your business? What's the cost of inaction in you and your leads and prospects in those conversations?
I can tell you that every coach that I work, whether it be Dean Graziosi, whether it be with Tony, whether it be with Grant Cardone, whether it be with Shanda Sumter, you name it. All of these online coaches, their businesses are just exploding. Because I've worked as vice presidents for many of these people. I've worked with them. I was vice president of Success Resources of America, which basically stages all of these events worldwide, right? But every single one of their businesses is flourishing. Companies that are teaching people how to be online coaches, their clients are flourishing. Why? Because people are now, this is the new normal. This is now an acceptable way of transferring knowledge, information, ascertaining skill development, right? And let me tell you something. People are acclimated to paying extraordinary money for it. I mean, I took on one client, his program price, listen carefully, was $5,000 for 90 days working with a client, right? The first thing that for 12 months, rather. The first thing that I immediately did was increased it from $5,000 to $25,000. And he had the best year, like tripled business last year at a $25,000 price point. Over $5,000. We did some modifications in the program, et cetera, but same clients, different conversation. Same amount of time, 45-minute conversation. Same marketing, but it was just a different conversation, because the mindset is that, first of all, I know you have the resources or you're resourceful. Okay, I know that. I assume that. You must assume that of people. Second thing is I know you're on this call for a reason. You're seeking something. And thirdly, you're not going to find it on your own. You're only going to find it through working, associating, collaborating with us. Right? There's a process that we put in place of enrollment, which we teach, which Josh teaches in his program as well, right? But I can tell you right now, every one of you, any of you doing six figures right now? You did in 2022. That was the last year, 2022. You guys all want to do 6 to 7 figures, I'm assuming, right? Okay, all right. Let me tell you this. First of all, we're not going to promise you anything because that's bullshit. But what I can tell you is the money's out there. The clients are out there. So getting you prepared in order to attract and enroll those clients and then deliver your product that's what's missing. That's the bridge right there, right there. Okay, but the money is there, the clients are there. I'm telling you, it's there. Listen, I just took another client just these past 3 months in the last of 2022. This is in the business of e-commerce, Amazon stores, right? We took the price of the program from $45,000 to $125,000 and doubled the business. Same clients, same delivery. $45,000 to $125,000, doubled revenue. Well, you said, well, yeah, Jim, well, you increased the price. No, double the amount of clients. The revenue did more than doubled the clients at $125,000 because the $125,000 conversation was stronger and more compelling than the $45,000 conversation was. Do you understand what I'm saying? Price means nothing. The effectiveness, the efficacy of the conversation is what is the differential.
And I'll bet my life right now, Jim, the people delivering that service were at the e-commerce brand with the higher priced clients. Mm-hmm. Those clients adhere to the program so much better.
Oh, absolutely.
Far more grateful, far more energized to coach those type of people. These aren't the people complaining and being negative and saying, you weren't there for me as the coach. This doesn't work. I hate this. Give me a refund. I bet their lives got way better as well as being more profitable. I bet my life, and I don't even know who these people are.
Absolutely. Much better clients. Much better clients. No, cash back, no cancellations. No. Guys, there's a lot of money out there. There's more money than you can think. There's more money out there you could ever imagine. Right? You must get your share now. You must get your share now, or waste another year. Or go through 2023, another beautiful year of opportunity. As a matter of fact, accentuated because, look, you've got a government right now that wants inflation to be 2%. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen, right? Right now, inflation is where? Anybody know? You guys know? You got inflation that's right now was 9% in November. It's right around 7% inflation. Why? They just can't get it down. They can't get it down. So what does the government do to get inflation down? What does it do? It takes away the monetary supply, right? Increases interest rates and basically slows down the entire engine, right, of this economy. Just crushes it with higher pricing, less availability of product, less availability and a more expensive worker, right? So what does that all lead to? We are in recession right now. Every indicator that defines recession, we've already met. It's just it just doesn't want to be admitted because it's not politically sound to admit that you're actually in a bona fide recession, okay? Interest rates are getting ready to rise again. Right now, to buy a home, you're at 8% interest rate, whereas you were at 2% this time last year. Now you're at 8%. That's a four-time multiple from 2% to 8%. It's a 4-time multiple, right? And there's no houses to buy anyway out there. So here's what's going on right now in this economy. How long do we expect this to last? Well, all throughout 2023, you're going to have nothing but more and more severe economic news. You read anybody, you read Forbes, you read Wall Street, you read, I was just reading Forbes and they were talking about the uncertainty of what's going on, right? Because understand this right now, the key word is uncertainty. People don't know what's going on. We're just coming out of COVID. we just got our brains kicked in with COVID. What the hell happened there? How did that happen? What is that all about? And now we're going into an economic and political milieu, right? That's absolutely uncertain and crazy. Okay. So what you must understand right now is that your clients have uncertainty in their mind. Do you have uncertainty in your mind? Do you have the uncertainty of 2023 in your mind? Okay, you are your client. Understand that. You are your client, right? Always. Whatever you're thinking, your client's thinking as well. Whatever you're hesitant about doing, your client's hesitant about doing. Whenever you're called to action and you go, wait, hold on a minute, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can afford. I don't know. You're your client. You're doing exactly the same thing as your client is, and you're expecting your client to be better and do more than you can yourself. My friend, that is called hypocrisy. That is something you must overcome, is the hypocritical you that is calling people to action when you yourself are unwilling to take action as well. This is one thing that you as an intentional leader get to drop, which is inaction. You can be uncertain. Harvard University did which I'm a fellow in the Institute of Coaching at Harvard University. So I get a chance to sit, in panel discussions with Nobel Prize leaders, with thought leaders. I was just in one with Richard Boyatzis, who wrote one of the best books on leadership, Primal Leadership. He and I spoke. Great guy from Chicago, drops a lot of F-bombs, total street gangster. But he's the godfather of coaching, right? Harvard University did a study called the Harvard Genome, CEO Genome Report, right? And what they wanted to do is find out what are the qualities of the most successful CEOs in American business. The Harvard CEO Genome Report. You can get it. It's free. It's a 14-page. 40-page, I can't remember what it is. You can get it for free. It's a white paper. Anyway, 4 characteristics of the most successful CEOs. By the way, only 20% of CEOs in America are successful. The other 80% are unsuccessful. I don't know if you know this or not. They're either fired, they're getting fired, or they're absolutely doing nothing with their business. Only 20% of American CEOs are successful. What's the number one quality of their success? Listen, number one quality of the most successful CEOs in America: decisiveness. Decisiveness, which means they take action. Now, it's really interesting because if you read into that, you'll find out that many of them, in the face of decision, are uncertain. They're uncertain. They have every reason to be hesitant and not take action. But they still take action. They get inside of the decision. And from there, you have a different perspective. From there, you can pivot. From there, you can make alterations or whatever the case may be. But I have a saying, it's called cross the starting line first, right? Like the winner crosses the finish line first, right? No. Crosses the starting line first. Cross the starting line first. It's okay to be fearful. It's okay to be uncertain. It's okay to be doubtful. It's not okay to be absolutely unreasonable and stupid. But, the decision, do I engage in this? Do I collaborate with this? Do I do this? Whatever the case may be. If the only thing that's holding you back is reluctance because you're afraid or because you can't see the result, right? My friend, you're flirting with failure. You're flirting with failure. What you do there, you're doing everywhere else. I can call you to one decision and I'll know what your whole life is based upon how you respond to that one decision that I call you to. Because you're going to give me your objection, which is really, there are no objections. There's subjections, mindsets, beliefs, fears, uncertainties. That's all subjective thinking. So I call them subjections. And what it is, basically, it's who you are. I can tell right there who you are. And I can also tell you how your life is. I can tell you your history.
So good.
Right? What I'm suggesting to you guys is you must be more. Run away from the guy yesterday. The guy yesterday is your worst enemy. The guy yesterday is whispering mediocrity into your ear. The guy from yesterday is saying, yeah, just do the same thing today. It's Groundhog Day, same routine. Wake up, do that, routine. Right? No, that's not what leaders do. Intentional leaders. Intentional leaders reshape themselves daily. Right? And again, it's the fear and the uncertainty that's the voice of success. It's the voice of success right there, yeah? So we're I'm going to go into something here in just a minute, but I want to give you a minute to say something, Josh, or whatever. You guys want to say something, anything, any response yet? Anything being provoked? Or you're just here for entertainment purposes?
Here's what came to me, and I'll be honest. Like I know we have a sharp, tough group of guys here, but just to be very clear, you were not going to jump on today to get motivational fluff. I hope that hit you right there because it's with love. Joshua 1:9 says, "Have I not commanded you be strong and courageous?" It doesn't say be weak and pathetic. So especially for you faith-based people, I believe that is a spiritual attack when the devil's talking to you, when that fear, that uncertainty creeps in. When Jim says you are called to be more, remember, be strong and courageous.
Four times in that first chapter, even the people, after God calls him, then the people say the same exact thing to Joshua. Right?
Yeah, that's why it hits home for me. It's a Joshua. So for you faith-based people, be strong and courageous. Where's one, to make it practical, what's one place in your business right now or your life where you need to be strong and courageous? What's something you're hesitating on? Is it spending money on paid advertising because you're not sure if it's going to work? Is it hiring your first team member because you know you need to scale and you can't be a one-man band that scales, but you're scared to? Is it joining us? I'll just be frank with you. Where's one place in your area of business or life where you can be strong and courageous? Because like Jim said, that fear, that hesitation is an indicator of the path you need to go on, not the one you shouldn't go on. And I think almost everyone on the planet, Jim, misinterprets that feeling.
Well, we're designed to avoid, right?
As we should, or else we'd all get eaten by wolves. Yeah, it's a good thing that's in place.
Fear. It's like, holy crap, if I invest in myself, I'm going to die. You see the unreasonableness of it, guys. If I seek to be more, I'm going to suffer. Well, there's two kinds of suffering. You're going to suffer because you stay where you are, or you're going to suffer through the change to become somebody different at a different place where you want to be. Again, we stay in this childish mentality, this mentality of where we basically, of avoidance. Like, if I avoid it, I'm going to be okay. No, you're not. It's like my friend told me of the story of his he used to raise pigeons, and he raised pigeons, and he had a pigeon cage where he had all of his prize pigeons, these beautiful pigeons with plumes and this and everything like that. And then one day he heard all this noise out in the backyard where the pigeon coop was. And as it turned out, some kind of way a feral cat got inside the pigeon cage. And he noticed something about the pigeons. They all closed their eyes, thinking that if I close my eyes, the cat will go away. Right? And so this is what we do. This is what we do as well. So, again, no matter what it is, guys, this call right here isn't a call to convince you of anything, to sell you anything, that's not what this call is about. This call is to provoke you. To provoke you. What you do is what you're gonna experience the consequences of. What you do and what you don't do. Understand, like I have teenage daughters. And one of the biggest lessons that I'm teaching my teenage daughters is consequence. Right? Because as children, I absorbed all the consequence, right? And so did my wife, because when they're children, they don't get into too much trouble. But when they start hitting 12 and 13 and 14 and 15, and they're on social media and they're posting inappropriate posts, and all of a sudden the whole school is talking about it, that's a consequence I cannot absorb as a parent. It's all on you. It's all on you, right? So it's the same thing with us. It's the same thing that whatever we do and whatever we don't do, understand and think, what will be the consequence? Con meaning with, sequence meaning next. What happens next? Right? It could be long-term, it could be short-term, whatever the case may be. All I'm doing, guys, is just talking to you from my mindset, which I've been very fortunate over 30 years of investing in myself. There hasn't been a year that I have not been vested in a coaching program or multiple coaching programs. Why would you not? Why would you not? If you're going to be a businessman. The truth is that probably none of you went to Wharton Business School, neither did I. Probably none of you has an MBA, neither do I. Probably none of you were bequeathed, multiple $1-million corporations, neither was I. So what does that mean? That means I had to learn business. I had to learn leadership. I had to learn. And thank God that I was stupid enough to invest in myself. Stupid enough meaning that I realized how stupid I was. Stupid meaning lacking the skill set, not in a derogatory term. So I very quickly invested. I mean, all I know is that here's my thinking. My thinking is if I give you $10,000, a client's going to pay me $10,000. The client's paying my tuition. That's always been my thinking. I've never paid in 30 years of coaching. I've never paid one time out of my money. It's always a client or clients that are paying for it. Right? As opposed to, me buying going on a vacation with that money, or, believe me, I've had the invest in yourself first. Invest in yourself first, right? To get that going. You guys have any questions or anything so far? I'm going to give you a resource that might help you as well. But how many of you already have your intention set for 2023? What is your financial intention? You wrote it down. You've got it written down, right? You've got it written down, and you know how you're going to get it. How many of you, first of all, wrote it down? What your intention is in 2023? How much more, Peter, how much more, and you're going to unmute yourself, right? How much more from 2000? Do you mind if I
No, let's do it.
Here, we're good to
do it. Yeah.
Okay, I might challenge you a bit. You okay with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So how much more is your 2023 revenue than it was actually realized in 2022?
I would say an extra 75,000.
Okay. All right. Were you satisfied with your 2022 earnings? Do you know what they were? I'm not asking what they were, but you know what they were, yes?
Yes, I've just come off part-time. I'm sort of been a part-time dad and part-time work, so slightly different circumstance, but
Sure.
Comparing to, so was I happy last year? Moderately so, but it was more about being at home with the kids and a bit of work, as opposed to now they're at school and everything, so there's more time, hence I'm in the room now with you and Josh.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
And you set that $75,000 increment. Where did it come from?
Price point of 40 clients at $2,995 each.
And that's 40 clients over a 12-month period.
Yes.
Okay. And at $299 per month.
Yeah.
Over 12 months.
That's a 6-month plan.
6-month plan. Okay. But a 12-month aggregation of the 40 clients.
Well, I just put down 40 for the 12-month period, but sitting here,
okay,
the first thing that's come from this is that's too small, but carry on.
Dude, Peter.
Okay.
Dude. And that's all good. That's all good. But bro, you're capable of so much more. I bet my left testicle that you'll triple that at least. and
that's the only one he's got left, because he bet
and I lost righty in 2022.
So but look, think about it this way. If you're going to accumulate, let's say you're going to accumulate 40 clients and you're accumulating them over 12 months, right? What is that? That's going to be about a little under 4 a month, right?
Yeah.
But understand this is that, you've got your last 4 paying you in the month of December. You see what I'm saying? It's a rolling
exponential payout. Yeah.
It's a rolling payout. So it's going to take you actually 2 years to bring 40 clients to fruition. And you get that, right? Because your last clients in December, it took you a year to get from number 36 to number 40. And they're just starting. So it's going to take them another 12 months for them to be in fruition. So actually, you've got a 2-year rolling income aggregation. All right. Which, if you look at it that way, for the most part, it's going to cut your earnings in half.
Yeah.
All right. So that right there is an income aggregation schedule that I'm going to suggest does not work for you. Okay. It's going to take too long. It's too drawn out. Out. Okay. So what is your total? Do you mind if I ask you what is your total goal or intention for 2023? Do you mind if I ask you that number?
No, not at all. No. You want me to shoot?
Please.
Yeah. So situation, like personally, is that we want to renovate our house. We're working with a financial advisor, and like short term. I mean, I just quick bit of background. The second thing I wrote down is mindset, which you mentioned in the first sort of 120 seconds, which is coming onto this call is like that's what I need. I knew that. I know that it's out there, and I've worked in the past with the cartel, and it's been very successful. And sitting here listening to most of this, I'm thinking way too small. But when I sat down at the beginning, it was like I just need to generate another $50,000 this year to top up my wife's income to be able to pull the trigger on the renovation. Beyond that, I do want a lot more. I want to set up a business that allows her to choose whether she works or not.
Okay. So what you've got is, you see, what you've got is situational leadership, right?
Mm.
The situation is the renovation of the house. So therefore, that situation is dictating, right, where it is that you're aiming.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So
yeah,
where else is that showing up in your life? Think about it. Where else are situations basically driving you to resource leadership and come up with solution, and the solution is as large as the situation demanded, right? Keep that in mind. That's all I'm asking you, all of us, to do. And keep in mind this, guys, is that for the most part, think about this. You're managing your life, you're managing your family, you're managing your money, you're managing everything to the point where you are making it as comfortable as possible. Your life. People say, how's life going? If people tell me how's life going, they go, oh, everything's great. What that's telling me is you are managing to a place of comfort, right, that you are showing up to every single day, right? What do we want? Security. What do we want? Predictability. What do we want? Manageability. What do we want? We want life to operate within our resources. And so we create a life that is within our resources. So if I were to tell you that situationally, you, my friend Peter, now are required and responsible for $250,000 to $400,000 in revenue generation in 2023, it would get real uncomfortable for you. Let's say $500,000. Okay. Let's say $500,000.
Big jump. Yeah.
Okay. It would get uncomfortable. What's one of the reasons why it would get uncomfortable? Because number one, because that's not where I operate. I don't operate at $500,000, Jim. Secondly, I can't see it happening. My belief system, I want to say I can see it happening. I want to say it, but the truth is, if you get into the real recesses of my mind, like, wait a minute. The third thing is, I don't know how that's going to happen. The fourth thing is, it's okay if it doesn't happen. I'll survive. I'm still going to be okay. You see, we give ourselves every reason in the world not to be successful.
Yeah.
That mindset right there is what every single person walking this planet is thinking, except for the very few that don't tolerate it. It's like, nope. Sorry. If I am going to be tomorrow who I am today, that's a miserable existence. That means I'm ungrateful. That means I'm wasteful. That means that I am taking whatever blessings of health, of being able to think, of being, I'm not in a bomb shelter in Ukraine right now, getting my ass blown off by Russian MiGs. I won the geographical lottery because I'm in a safe place. You must become the enemy of who you were yesterday. And be fearless. And even in the face of fear, take action. Put your neck on the line. This is courage. It's courageous. How can you ask other people to do it if you won't do it yourself? You understand that hypocrisy? That hypocrisy is insincere, it's inauthentic, it's unethical. It's unethical. Right?
It's so good, Jim. To me, it's a conversation of standards. Here's another way to ask exactly what Jim just said in a different way. What's something you tolerated about yourself or your clients in 2022 that you will not tolerate in 2023? Everyone talks about tolerance as if, oh, I just let everything happen. Just be yourself. Everything's all good. Well, at some point, we got to draw a line, ladies and gentlemen. No, not everything is okay. Some things are not okay. I will not accept. So, for example, here's something from myself. And Nick and Branda, if you guys are here, maybe unmute yourself and just confirm this. I don't tolerate crap from people. You guys have watched me fire clients. I've let people go. I've said to people that want to work with us, and I tell people, you're not a good fit. You're not welcome here. I don't take crap, right, Nick and Branda? Because if you don't draw that line, this is what Jim says. Either you're going to choose the pain of discipline or pain is going to choose you. So what about, I do the hardest reflection on myself. This is really convenient for me to say on my side of the Zoom call, but I do very hard reflect. And you know what I did back in the day? I want everyone to like me so bad. Yeah, every client that wants to be here, come on. Yeah, just welcome aboard. If you have a credit card and you can swipe it, come on. I don't care how disrespectful you are or how ungrateful you are for my teaching. Just come on in. No boundaries. Oh, you want to do a one-on-one call at midnight? Yeah, sure. Let's jump on Zoom. Nope. I don't do that anymore. What about yourself and your clients? Are you not going to tolerate in this year that you did last year? And if someone else wants to unmute and yell at me and tell me what it is, I would love to know. Like, this is where I want to have a little back and forth here. What's something that you just got to draw the line on, whether it's yourself or your client?
Yeah, for me, it's inconsistency, right? The things that I say that I'm going to do that I don't follow through with, then expecting my family, my friends around me to do the same thing. And then also on top of that, with my clients, like you said, just bringing people on that aren't necessarily a good fit for my program, that aren't going to follow through, or if they do follow through, they don't see the results they want to see, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with what I want to change in 2023, because
Zach's got the Ohio Wi-Fi. That's why I'm in Florida now. Zach, are you there, bro?
Yeah, man. I have bad service. I'm in the fucking country, so don't mind me.
So keep going. No, you're good. Keep going. This is good.
But I mean, the biggest thing for me is, like I said, is just, like holding yourself to that standard of like, I don't like who I was yesterday. I don't like how I acted. I don't like the things that I did. And if I want people to change around me, I have to fucking change by doing the things that I who are successful CEOs, right? That's kind of where. Sorry to ramble on like that.
No. It's good that you got it out. Do you mind if I say one thing about inconsistency? Because inconsistency is something that's pervasive, right? All of us face inconsistency. And I can tell you how to solve inconsistency.
Write this down, people. This is the thing right here.
Inconsistency is the lack of doing. It's the lack of doing, of being able to maintain doing over a period of time. Okay, it's the doing. Inconsistency is eliminated when the doing becomes the being. You see, when it's your identity now, when it's who you've chosen to be and to become, when it is your identity, now it's something, right, that you will be able to maintain because it's who you are. It's not what you do. What you do becomes a result of who you are. If you are not that person, then it's very difficult to be consistent, right? So become what it is you, like, so for example, if you say, Zach, I am going to be a $500,000 enterprise this year. That's who I am. $500,000. Okay. Okay. That's who I am. That's what my business is. That's who I am. That's what I'm going to speak into. That's what I'm going to meditate upon. That's what I'm going to pray over. That's what I'm going to declare. I am a $500,000 business this year.
Just over 40 grand a month, which is no money on the planet. Just over 40.
That's 10,000 a week, right? If you would have let me to get into your pricing, oh, that's one client, right? Okay, for a year, right?
Yeah. That's VIP. Hey, Ben, who just left the call. It's easy for me to say now that he's not gone and can't defend himself. He and I have been texting for a couple months. And I just said, dude, when are you going to stop playing small? Like, I'm done having this conversation with you. This is embarrassing. Guess what he did last week? Sold a 4K fitness package. He said, Josh, I never thought this would be possible. I said, guess what, brother? Your proof of results show it is.
See,
so stop underestimating yourself. Stop it.
There you go. Now, when you become and you've made, like I said, mindset, like Peter was saying, the first thing is that, you get into your mind. How do you do that? Well, you get an expert that can get into your mind and rewire your mind. That's what a professional coach that has the ability. They basically rewire your mind. They give you a different way of seeing things, of thinking things, of feeling things, and all of a sudden they give you the opportunity to create the new identity so that everything now becomes consistent in your behavior with that identity. You see, if you're being inconsistent with doing things, it's because in reality, who you are is somebody who doesn't do things. And doing things is unnatural. You got to hate that guy. You got to hate that guy.
No one likes that guy. You don't want to work for that guy. You don't want to hire that guy. You don't want to be married to that guy. You don't want to go have a drink at the bar with that guy. I think that's a consistency thing though, right, Jim? This is what we all have wrestled with because when I heard someone say self-confidence is just the repetitive nature of making and keeping promises to yourself, which therefore the inversion or opposite of that is also true. If we make promises to ourselves that we don't keep, we then, and by the way, I think this is just great accountability, we then don't trust ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if you were making a promise to someone else and you didn't keep it, they're not going to trust you. And it's like the devil and the angel on our shoulders. If we're breaking promises we make to ourselves, holy crap, isn't that pretty scary considering our clients are probably doing the exact same thing?
Yeah. And then you can have these conversations with your clients, you see. I mean, basically all enrollment is, because I don't speak sales.
Sales is dead. Sales is dead. Everyone go send Jim a friend request on Facebook. Maybe he'll be gracious to accept it. You need to follow Jim on Facebook. Sales is dead. We openly say that here.
So when you're enrolling, basically what you're doing is you're coaching people past themselves. Because when it comes time to commit, when you do the CTA, the call to action, right? What's going to happen is they're going to fall into their own human nature, which is resistance, reluctance, mistrust, uncertainty, whatever the case may be. And this is where you don't overcome objections. There are no objections. And it's not overcoming people. It's facilitating people through their own identity, who they are, and calling them into who they must be, and then coaching them through that. And that's where that's where your program starts right there. Your program starts right there. That's where your program starts.
And in case anyone takes those conversations personally, do you realize that they're not giving you those quote unquote objections? They're just giving them to themselves. It has nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to do with your price, has nothing to do with anything. That's why I can come into any one of your programs and quadruple the price and quadruple the enrollments. Why? Simply because using a different technique that is effective in the human experience. And that is basically speaking into people's realities and then facilitating them to get beyond themselves because they really want to do it. You ask anybody, if you give them, if I offer you my program for free, would you do it? Oh yeah, I'd do it. Well, of course they wouldn't do it because they wouldn't have any skin in the game. They wouldn't even show up, or they'd show up maybe one time. But they want it. Everybody would want it. There's never anybody's going to tell you no. No, I don't want it for free. No, forget about it. So they want it. It's just now you've got to take action. Now you've got to be decisive. Now you get to be resourceful. Now you get to commit. Now you get to be more than who you are, right? Because to enroll in someone's program means that you're being more than and different than who you really are, right? So you're calling them to a new identity. You're coaching them into a new identity. Listen carefully. They don't become a client because they sign a contract. They sign a contract because they become a client through your conversation, right? And that's something that we teach. How to get these people, how to coach them into your program beyond themselves, because they want to be, they just don't know how.
Jim, as good as today was, I feel like we almost just scratched the surface. We could go all day. We could go all day. At the same time, I know your time is incredibly valuable. I want to get us onto the next step here. Before we move forward here, I would just love to know most valuable or insightful thing that Jim or myself has covered today. Just unmute yourself and yell at me. What's been helpful? Would love your feedback.
Mindset.
What about it? Think bigger, more efficiently, self-awareness, all of it.
That I'm the handbrake to my own success.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need to be really self-aware. I had a great chat with my wife about 4 or 5 days ago about 2023, about me getting back into work full time, and this just highlighted and followed up on our conversation. So it's I just need to be really aware of what is that initial almost gut thought or gut. What am I saying to how am I speaking to myself, and catch that and trash it if it doesn't serve me.
What we speak into ourselves is safety, is comfort. Understand? Only the coach will drive you beyond yourself. Think of any sport. Is there any sport? Wait, are you Aussie, you Australian? Is that what I'm hearing?
Kiwi, close, but
Kiwi. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, think of rugby, think of cricket, think of football. I mean, who is driven to greatness without a coach? Who is driven beyond themselves without a coach? We are our worst coach. Understand that?
True.
You are your worst self coach.
I'm so terrible. It's unbelievable. I'm so bad.
Yeah.
It's why I need Uncle Jim in my life. I told Jim, you might not remember this. I told you one of my goals 3 or 4 months ago, and you literally laughed at me. You're like, dude, you're capable of so much more. Like, don't ever say that to me again. So, Peter, I'll be a Sherpa for you in that, just because you have experience. Like, your stuff. And the way I get myself out of the, kind of thinking small thing is, to be honest, and not to be morally righteous, but it's service. I am my most self when I'm not there. And when I'm in flow, I'm creating, I'm building, I'm having conversations like this. I think that's the best version of me for myself and for everyone around me. So, Peter, I'll keep you grounded in service, because I know you're starting with us on February 1st, I believe. I'll keep you grounded in service and competing with your potential and not your limitations.
Fantastic.
Congratulations. It's good stuff.
What else? What else has been helpful? Someone else let me know. Because Jim was extremely gracious by being here and abundantly giving so much information and lessons. He didn't have to do that. Nick and Branda, let me know. What's up?
Absolutely. When you start getting intentional about the type of person you're going to bring in, you'll bring in a daddy moment over there. You'll bring in more clients that you're satisfied with, right? Because because you're coming from a place of authority, and your clients will feel that, the prospect.
Like, that's so right. Are you guys, hold on though, because I don't want these to just be a really fun Zoom call that people don't bring with them into their everyday business. Are you guys talking about the standards of your program and what you truly believe? Are you expressing that in your videos and your content? Are you actually laying it out there like that on your enrollment conversations or when you're qualifying people? Like, are you really putting it out there? Are you willing to die on that sword? Are you expressing that? Because I think a lot of people, Jim, will kind of say that and say, yeah, this is who I'm going to accept into my program, and everyone's going to appreciate my work and be grateful, and I'm going to set the tone. And then they don't do it. Like, bring that with you in 2023. Your life will be so much more peaceful and prosperous because of it. So where in your content, where in your conversations, where in your nurturing process and your social media stuff, are you laying it out there like you need to? Honestly.
Also, it'll make for better clients because they'll understand what you expect of them. So it'll make for a better client and filter out those people who don't want anything to do with that.
Because those people are never going to be a good fit anyways.
Never going to be a good fit. Right?
Absolutely brilliant. Jim, do you have any parting words for the crew here? This was just really fantastic.
Well, I mean, first of all, just understand that left to your own devices, you're probably going to hurt yourself, right? You're going to leave a lot of money on the table, because if you haven't created a 7-figure business yet, right, then your mindset is way, way, way down here, when it can be up here. You can get lifted up to up here into this belief system and this vision, this scope, because it's not like there's some different reality between there and there. It's the same reality exists. It's just, how are you looking into that reality? How are you believing into that reality? Because it's there. It's there for the taking. If I were to tell you that your $4.99 a month program, right, that you're offering, you can offer that same thing for $15.99 a month, right? Make a whole lot more money and get more clients. But you go, no, Jim, it's like, well, from where you sit, yeah, I can see that you can't see it happening. From where you sit, you're your own worst enemy. That's why aligning with someone who does know how to do that, to give you that vision, to show you that it exists, is the only way it's going to happen for you. Right? That's how you progress. You progress. We're born. We're born to progress through the instruction of another. Your mother first was the first one. Your father then came into play. Then who was next? Teachers came into play. Coaches came into play. And ultimately bosses came into play. And, and mentors, right? We're always progressing on the coattail of someone who is more than, better than, right? Otherwise, if you don't, then you fall into the nihilistic void of mediocrity and rot. That's what it becomes. And a wasted life. You weren't created to waste life. Right? Experience what's out there. Experience the joy of being, letting, God bless you in a way, in abundance, right? Why are you not asking for miracles? Somebody said, Jim, why are you not asking for miracles?
Wow.
I'm like, wow, you're right. It's like, what can I ask God that he can't do? So I'm gonna start asking for miracles.
Why not?
And they come. The challenges are always there. The cross is always there, man.
Yeah.
My disciple, pick up the cross and follow me. All right. Cross is always there. But the blessings are phenomenal as well. Right? The loaves get multiplied. The water turns to wine.
Come on.
Anyway.
It's not even Sunday.
Not even Sunday.
It's not even Sunday.
That's coming from a Catholic boy. We're not supposed to know that stuff, right?
It's funny. Robert's actually a pastor. Robert, do you have anything to add to that?
That was pretty good.
I'm so excited. My left leg is cramping up right now. Hey, Jim, I know we're on a time limit. I'm going to get you out of here. Thank you so much, brother, for your expertise.
It's my pleasure, guys.
This was practical. It was tactical. It was still working on who we need to be as well. Insane value, insane insights. I'm so grateful that we did this. Everyone, before you just get out of here on Zoom, just unmute yourself and just say, hey, thanks, Jim. Thank you, Jim. See you, Jim.
Guys.
Show him some
Thanks,
love, please.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Hey, anytime. I enjoyed it too. Anytime. I'm more than happy to come and kick it with you guys. All right. Just share what I've learned along the way, what I've been instructed into. So
good.
Appreciate your time, Jim, down here from New Zealand, down the bottom of the world. Thanks very much.
Hey, I can't wait to get down there one day.
Just what I needed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks, Josh. Appreciate Josh for setting it up, man. Thank you. Looking forward to this
100%.
year.
I appreciate
Good
you guys
seeing you,
having an
Jake.
amazing day, okay? Be great.
Jake, look like you're in big sky country right there, man.
Big sky country? Yeah.
Yeah, the big sky, Montana.
You're unmuted. You're on mute. I think Carolina, right, Jake?
Oh, I love Carolinas.
That's
I
right.
love Carolina. Appalachian Mountains. Love them. Beautiful.
We're international.
Yeah.
We're national over here. Hey, wherever you're at in the world, I send you my love and blessings. And so does Jim. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. And go implement all of this stuff. All right.